I know that one of the big issues that we've got in Texas right now is the crisis on the border, and there's been a lot of frustration voiced by Texas officials about the federal government not acting. And I interviewed earlier this week the vice president of one of the Border Patrol union, and they're frustrated because they're not fully staffed up to what's authorized under law and are wanting more funding that way. And they're in their view, that's a better solution than the National Guard because the Border Patrol can actually detain people. What are your Republican colleagues saying about what the solution needs to be and where the federal government needs to be acting?
Well, I think the Republican House has acted. We've had a huge problem with our president refusing to faithfully execute the laws and secure our border for quite some time. Obviously, there's been yet another crisis with this influx of unaccompanied minors across the southern border. And I've been to the border. And I've got to tell you, as an aside, some of the best men and women who serve our federal government are in the Border Patrol. And we should all be proud of them. And so what the House has done is, frankly, given the number one item on their wish list, and that is access to federal property. I mean, most Americans would just be absolutely aghast to know that so much of our border is functionally off limits to the Border Patrol. The human smugglers can basically thumb their nose or thumb other digits at our Border Patrol as they gain access to these protected federal properties, and the good guys can't have access. So the House has acted to do just that.
So that's something that wouldn't even technically cost anything. That's just giving them the authorization to keep.
Well, it's giving them the authorization. Also, there are areas where they do want roads to go along the border. So there may be some funds involved there as well. We also have ensured that the National Guard can be called out by any border governor, and that it is the federal taxpayer, not the state of Texas taxpayer in my case, that pays for this. And I have a lot of respect for Governor Rick Perry for calling out the National Guard. It wasn't his responsibility, but again, we've got a president with a pen and a phone. He just doesn't have a constitution, and he's not faithfully executing the laws when it comes to securing our border. Everybody says, listen, we're a humane country, but we're also a country that believes in the rule of law. And I think the most humane thing we can do is convince others not to take this journey. It is a very, very dangerous journey. And the sooner that we can have C-130s land back in Guatemala and Honduras and repatriate these children, that's probably about the most humane thing we can do. And long term, if you can't secure the border, if you won't fix our broken exit visa system, frankly, there's really not anything else to discuss. I mean, we've seen this movie before in the 80s when we were told, well, grant an amnesty and we'll secure the border. The amnesty came, the border security never came. So until we secure the border, it's hard to deal with these other issues. And our president has so little credibility on this issue. It's hard to see a way forward, but we need to secure our border. We need to follow the rule of law. There's no way that we can ever grant amnesty when there are people who wait 3, 5, 7, 10 years to come to America the right way. And people who come to America need to come with their sleeves rolled up, ready to work. But last but not least, I would say this: America's a nation of immigrants. I'm very pro-immigration. It's our heritage. It's our destiny. I just want people to come here legally. Some of the best Americans I know weren't born in America, because they've known something besides freedom and besides opportunity, and many of them treasure our birthright even more than we do. So we can't solve the world's problems. We can't bring in everybody. But people who love freedom, want to work hard, learn the English language, the language that binds us together as a people, I want to find room for these folks.
Yeah, I know one of the things that people have been frustrated about. I mean, we've reported at Breitbart, Texas, that there's over 30,000 of these minors that have been released around the United States to family members and sponsors with nothing more than a notice to appear. Is there any hope of any congressional action that would maybe reform that system? Because letting people out or all over the United States with a piece of paper to show up in court weeks or months later.
It's somewhere between comedy and tragedy. The further somebody gets north of the border and the longer they're here, the much lower probability that they will ever go home. And so what we did, the House Republicans acted in this bill to ensure that people remained on the border, did not go north. and that we authorized payment from other funds to secure more judges so that everyone had to have a hearing within 7 days, not 7 years, not 7 decades or 7 lifetimes. And so the House has acted, but as you well know, under our Constitution, we need a little help from the Senate. We need a lot of help from this president who, again, has not faithfully executed our laws.
Okay. Yeah, great. Well, I really appreciate the time. Where can people get updates from your office?
They can go to our website. We're very easy to find, and the last name is Hensarling. And you go on that website and find out more.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.